Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here with an update on All In with Ari. I do need to place a trigger warning in the beginning of this video for mistreatment of a child. And I know that this is can be a very upsetting topic for some people, but this has to be talked about. If people are going to support this channel, they should know who they are supporting. And there have been some things that have come to light that I want to talk about. So if you're in a situation or a place where you can listen, please keep watching. And if you're not, I will see you on the next one, but let's get into the video. All right, you guys, so first things first, I need to be completely transparent about Ari. And I'm going to continue to use the name Ari because that's her channel name. I don't know if y'all think that I'm wrong and I should be using her other name, then tell me, but I'm just doing what I feel is right. That is her channel name, so that's the name that I'm going to continue to use until she starts calling herself by her actual name. But she has come out and said that she changed her name, so I'm just going to use Ari. Doesn't really matter. So here's the thing. There have been several things come to light about Ari. I will link my first two videos down below if you have no clue who I'm talking about and you're interested in catching up. It is only 2 videos to catch up on and you will be up to speed. There have been some things come to light, and as I said in my last video, there are certain things when it comes to someone's criminal history being shown, whether online or in real life, there are certain things that, you know, oh, what, you have a little bit of theft, you stole something when, you know, from a store, you ran a red light, like some things to me are not that big of a deal because we all have bad moments. But the one thing that I will say is I would hope that most of us can agree that, like I mentioned in my last video, mistreating a child, an animal, an elder, someone who is not in a position to defend themselves, if you are putting physical harm on that person, in my opinion, you are scum of the earth. And I realize that my opinion only accounts for a very, very small fraction of all the opinions that are out there. But I would hope that most of us can agree on that. If you mistreat, you know, any of those people, even if you mistreat someone as, you know, an adult, it's still not a good thing to do unless you're reacting in self-defense and that person is harming you first and you're defending yourself. Obviously, that's a completely different situation. But if you're harming a child, what did the child do to you? If you're harming someone who's 82 years old, what did the 82-year-old do to you? And for damn sure, if you're mistreating an animal, animals are the most loving and forgiving creatures on this planet. So what did the animal do to you? Why are you hurting people? If you hurt people or animals, I think that you're a piece of shit, and that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but I do think that most people are on the same page with me regarding that. So I mentioned that in my last video. There have been some things, some court documents that have come to light, and I'm going to go over those in the beginning of this video before we react to Ari's. If you have the ability to harm a child, you're done in my book. I don't care what kind of background you have. I don't care what kind of day you were having. I don't care what kind of week or month you were having. To me, if you have the capability to harm a child, much less your own child. So this court document is from 2014 and it says, comes now the plaintiff Aaron Weaver. This is someone who Ari had a previous relationship with, and she happened to have a child with this individual. By and through his attorney, Helen Grinder, and for his motion for emergency relief states as follows: that this court has jurisdiction over the parties at the subject matter herein, that the plaintiff filed a petition for order of paternity kind of goes on some of the more technical things. Now here's where it gets into the muddy waters. And by the way, the defendant is Ari in this situation. The defendant has refused to allow the plaintiff of the paternal grandparents any contact with the child since being served with the petition. On that Saturday, February 15th, 2014, the defendant's father, Ronald, contacted the paternal grandmother, Linda, advising that the baby was in Arkansas Children's Hospital, having been transported there from Conway Regional Medical Center due to extensive head injuries, including a fractured skull. And I wanted to do a little bit of research into this as well. I did watch some other videos, but I wanted to look for it, like the information for myself firsthand. And if y'all are medical professionals, doctors, nurses, let me know in the comments. But from what I can understand, it is very hard to fracture a baby's skull because the skull is still developing. So when you're dealing with a small infant, that tissue is still somewhat soft and it hasn't fully formed into like what kind of bone density an adult would have, if that makes sense. And I'm not a medical professional. Like I said, I'm just an idiot with an opinion online, but that's what I gathered. So if y'all know more, sound off in the comments. Now, I'm not going to read the entire court document because, as most of you probably know, I'm not an attorney. I have no experience in law or the legal system. But I wanted to share that main point of concern with you guys because someone's criminal past doesn't tell us everything that we need to know about them. But with something like this, for me, a charge and a claim like this really tells me who you are. And maybe I'm being judgmental, but if I'm being judgmental towards someone that can put a child in harm's way to the point that they are not only taken to a local medical facility, but they're then transferred due to the extent of their injuries, really, really bad. Like for me, I just don't need to know a whole lot more about you. I think that you're a piece of trash. I think you're scum of the earth. And I think that it's completely disgusting, deplorable, just the very worst. And that's where I stand on it. It also says on this document that the defendant, who is Ari, has a history of instability and, to the best of the plaintiff's knowledge, has been hospitalized for mental health issues and has attempted S in the past to reduce, resulting in scars on her wrist, and has held a G to her head threatening S. The defendant has consumed antidepressants while drinking alcoholic beverages and has been convicted of no seatbelt, careless and prohibited driving, speeding, driving under the influence of alcohol, driving on suspended license, and failure to pay fine and costs. So that's a lot. That's a lot to process. That's a lot to think about. And there are some things that I've seen about her that I can look away from. Like I said, we all have made some bad choices and maybe not done the right thing. And sometimes when you don't do the right thing, it can result in an arrest and a record. But with these kinds of decisions being made, they're very intentional and they are not mistakes and you were just having a bad day and you happen to be caught. You went out of your way to allegedly harm a child. So I did want to put that in the beginning of this video because I do think that it's very important to this storyline. And I've always done my best to walk the line of not going real life, but being able to provide commentary on public figures, but not dig for info or dig for, something to share that shouldn't be public. But I think with a situation like this, you no longer deserve privacy when these things have been outlined in official court documents. I just don't think that at that point you should still be granted the privacy that you would have if it was any other situation. So those are these situations. I know a lot of people talk about mom shaming and, you know, don't parent shame, don't mom shame. There are certain situations where you should be mom shamed. And this is someone who not only has these situations outlined in official court documents, but she also left the state where her child was and went to California. So you're not even there trying to mend things that you screwed up. You're not trying to, you know, do better for your child. And I think that there should be some shame that comes along with that. So let's get into her video. Right now it has 37,000 views, 2.8 thousand likes to 1.4 thousand dislikes. And so, you know, it's not necessarily split, but as we know from previous videos and just facts, there are a lot of men who are watching her that are infatuated and just enthralled by her beauty and her story that she's feeding out to them, and that's completely fine. Hey, if you're watching this video and you're a big fan of Ari and you want to send her $100, $500, $1, go for it. But on my channel, I've always made it a point to show you the transparency side that influencers and YouTubers often hide in order to make money off of their subscribers. So when you have a public platform, there's going to be public opinion given on it, and that's what we're here to do. So we're going to get into the video. I have it at 1.5 times speed so I don't keep y'all here all night, but let's get into it.
All right, it's time to get real. As you all know, I'm sure by now, you have heard of or seen the whole Ari's a scammer news. Where do I begin? Am I a scammer? Am I scamming the people? Short answer, no. I'm gonna be real with you guys like I have from day one. I hope this gives peace to the people that want to believe in me, but they're kind of like on the fence, like, is she like scamming us or is she?
So in the beginning of the video, she says, it's time to get real. And then she also said, I'm going to be real with you guys like I have been from day one. So which one is it? Is this time to get real, or have you been real the whole time?
Legit, like, is she genuine? You have to understand, I'm very green, okay? This YouTube thing is all new to me. My subscribers, the amount of subscribers I have is something that I've never seen before or experienced or was even going for in the beginning. When I made this channel, it was on a whim. It was raw. It was definitely not premeditated. I was literally sitting in my car one day. I remember I was sitting at the park.
Okay, but if it wasn't intentional and this was just some kind of idea that came to you in the, you know, random moment that it did and you decided to make a video, why was the Cash App immediately linked to her channel? That's what I want to know. Why was the Cash App introduced so early to her presence? Why was the Patreon introduced so early to her presence? If this was just a, oh, I'm so green, I'm so new, what do? I don't know anything, I'm just trying to share this imperfect life of mine. It feels like a lot of it was orchestrated, but she wants people to think that it wasn't. And some people can believe that, some people cannot. I don't really care. But to me, in between the Cash App, the Patreon, and her quitting her job, that's kind of the trifecta of issue that people take with everything that she's done. And of course, the most recent issue, and that's kind of the worst of everything, is that these court documents have been released where she was caring, I don't even want to say caring, she was not caring for her child, who was counting on her for safety, love, compassion, caring, all of the things. It's disgusting.
And I was just feeling down, like, about my whole situation. And so when I started to watch videos of people who are in the same situation as me, it uplifted me and it gave me motive and encouragement to put out a video for the people that are going through the same things but just haven't spoken up about it or haven't wanted to talk about it. I never had the intentions to gain pity or sympathy from anybody. That's not what this was at all. It was purely to show others.
I don't think that she necessarily wanted pity or sympathy. I do think that she wanted money from the get-go. And that's why the Cash App and Patreon were introduced so early. And when she realized that she was gaining this following of, you know, people that were eating up exactly what she was serving, that's also when she allegedly quit her job, even though who knows if she even had a full-time job. At this point, I just don't believe a word that she says. And on top of not having any trust, I also see her in a completely different light based off of the court documents that have now been uncovered.
That it doesn't matter what happens to you in life, you can always have a positive outlook on it. You can always make it better. You can take what's given to you and make the best out of it and still live a very happy life, whether you believe in God or whatever. That's just me personally. I put my faith and trust in God.
Let's be real, she puts her faith and trust in dollar signs, and that is her main motivation for all of this. If it wasn't a main motivator, then there wouldn't be multiple streams of income on how she can make money off of her subscribers that are buying this story that she's feeding to them.
But anybody can make the best out of a not so great situation, and that's what I'm doing. And I'm letting you guys see that.
I don't think that anybody can make the best out of what might be a not so great situation. She's living in her car. Do you know how many homeless people would literally give their right arm to be living in a car instead of sleeping on, you know, grates to keep warm in the winter, or trying to find a cool shaded spot to sleep in the middle of the summer? Do you know how many people would literally give everything that they, you know, literally like all of their limbs to be able to live in a car? And she's doing it voluntarily. She has enough to live, as she has said before. So the money isn't a really big thing, but you're still going to run Patreon and Cash App and monetize YouTube videos, which is fine. But you're staying in your car, even though you could have a place, a roof over your head right now. You're choosing this. So to say that everyone can, oh, everyone just needs to look at things more positive and have a brighter outlook on things, life is beautiful and everything is, you know, confetti and lollipops, that's just not practical. And it's rich coming from her to say that when other homeless people that are literally living on the streets would do anything to simply have a car. And she's here going to Mercedes in Beverly Hills, quitting her job. It's just very disingenuous when you compare what her videos have been to other people that are living in their cars. That's where red flags start to come up, and we're not even covering the part that, in my opinion, she has no integrity, or for me, her value really went down once all these court documents came out specifically regarding her child. That's where I am just completely now. I went from just kind of being, meh, whatever, you know, is she grifting? Yeah. That put me into the position of just thinking that she's trash.
I don't claim to be some poor, like run down, living on the streets type homeless person that needs people's money. That's not what this is. That's not.
Oh, she's not a rundown type homeless person. She is a shopping at Target, going to Starbucks, living in my car homeless person. So she's better than the rundown homeless person. Being homeless is not an aesthetic. Being homeless is not a lifestyle. It's not something that you use for clicks and views.
It has ever been about. I never once asked for donations. I don't even ask people to subscribe to my channel or like my videos. The way I...
Okay, so you don't have to ask for the expectations to still be there. If your Cash App and your Patreon is there, you don't have to say, oh my God, please send me some money, please send me a donation. people are going to feel obligated when you literally like pull on their fucking heartstrings every single video. So if you're not asking for it and you really don't care, close down your Cash App. That would speak a lot.
If you want to subscribe, great. If you don't, great. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to do what they want to do. I'm not going to try to persuade you to subscribe to me or believe me. I'm a real person. And while I'm getting a lot of great and beautiful and uplifting feedback, I'm also getting a lot of hate as well, which is to be expected. I understand that. Like, that's just like part of YouTube. And it's definitely part of having such a big following.
I don't really know if she's necessarily getting, she might be getting a little bit of hate now that things have come to light and been exposed. But up until this point, I don't necessarily know that she was getting a ton of hate. I think that it was just a lot of people asking really hard questions that she wasn't ready to answer or own up to. And once people found out who she really was and what her past really entailed, they were disgusted, as they should be.
I understand that that comes with the territory. I have been real and raw from the start, but the start, it's like people expect me to be down and out every day. Like, yeah, in my first video, I was a little more somber because I was having one of those days. People go through emotions, and it would be asinine.
I think her first video, she was not, you know, chipper and bouncing off the walls and singing to songs and doing all of this kind of stuff, because she knew that first video was going to be the video that either made or broke her channel. Even though I don't think that she's a good person, I also don't think that she's dumb. And that's the big difference here. I think that she's very cunning and manipulative and knows what she's doing. And that very first video was sort of the anchor of her channel. And sure enough, it blew up. It made her go viral. And I think she knew exactly what she was doing.
To believe that if you're down and out one day, that's how you are every other day. I mean, people are happy some days and they're down other days. That's just how life is. I've been doing this for 7 months. Before I even started my YouTube channel, it's like there were some days that this whole living in my car thing kind of just bummed me out, because it would be nice to have an apartment, you know, and I had those thoughts on some days. But
you were working full time and you said you had money saved. And all the money that she's made off, you know, these donations and stuff, like at this point you're choosing to live in your car because it fits the storyline.
Most days I found the joys out of it, the freedoms out of it, the positives. And so I have a more positive outlook on it. Frankly,
she has a more positive outlook because she's not like other homeless people. She is the shopping at Target and going to Starbucks every day type homeless person. It's an aesthetic for her. It's a lifestyle.
To be quite frank with you guys, and to be 100% honest, I have not touched any of the donation money. A lot of people are saying, well, she's just living off other people's money. That's so not true. All the donations that have been given are just in like a little pot that I haven't touched. That's kind of like my savings for my van. I am so thankful.
The money that she's made from people is obviously a big point of discussion. If you're going to say that you haven't touched the money, why should anyone believe you? That's my question. You're just going to tell people that you haven't been spending that money, even though you're showing yourself constantly buying stuff at Target, Starbucks, gym membership, all of the, you know, day-to-day expenses that she has. And she's just going to say that and expect people to believe her.
For the people who donated, and I appreciate you guys so much, but I never asked for it.
You can't expect subscribers to believe you when you're not fully transparent along the way. Some might, but a lot are going to say, she hasn't been honest about this, and this, so why should I believe you now? You shouldn't, my opinion.
I want people to realize, like, I quit my job, but I didn't just quit like on bad terms, you know what I mean? Like, I thought it out, I talked with my boss, and I do have something to go back to if I ever needed to, but that's just not where God's taking me. I was just going in circles with this 9 to 5 and wasn't really.
So God's not taking you there. Let's talk about the money that she's making off of YouTube and donations. This has nothing to do with God. This has everything to do with algorithm, income, Patreon, comments, video engagements. this whole like, oh, God is behind everything. If that's the way that you frame your thoughts, fine. But I think that, again, she's trying to pander to people that are extremely religious. And I think that it's worked for a certain period of time. But I also think that people are really catching on to her shit now.
Being able to save up that much. I'm not even living off the money that I am making off of YouTube. I am still living off the money that I personally had saved up, along with my vacation pay that was given to me whenever I left my job. A lot of you think that I am scamming people. I mean, you guys.
Okay, so vacation pay, money, blah, blah, blah. Why wasn't this put towards getting a place or renting a room? And then you wouldn't have to put a sob story out onto YouTube, making people feel bad, plugging a Cash App, doing Patreon, doing all of this stuff. I think she's a master manipulator, and that's where I'm going to stand on it for a while. But on top of it, allegedly, she is a terrible person based off of literally sending her own child to a medical facility with a fractured skull.
You guys couldn't be more wrong. I hate to tell you. You're just so wrong about that. And that's why I want to let you guys know, like, I'm probably going to just cut off the Cash App, and that's not what this channel is about. I'm not trying to get donations from people. Never asked for them, never will. But I will humbly thank the people that were willing to help me, the people that want to see me get to a better place. Again, I am
Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to keep you guys here all night. She's boring. She's very much just like glamorizing this situation and hoping that people eat it up. Here's the thing that I will say about this. If you want to donate to her, but you should know who you're donating to. And that's why I wanted to talk about, most importantly, what I talked about in the beginning of this video. Mistreating a child and putting them in a medical facility where they are entering that facility and having to be transported due to the extensive injuries that they arrived with is absolutely appalling. So if you're going to come on here and sugarcoat and manipulate and do all this kind of stuff, what people really want to talk about is the issue of her child. That's what people want to talk about. People on the internet and people in general do not care for child abuse. People who do not care for their children, you're trash. And that's what most people agree on. That's what I said in the beginning. I really hope that most of us at least agree on that. We can look at everything else from a little bit of a different stance, but you're mistreating a child, dude. You are trash. So she also, in the other video that I was going to react to, she also talks about why she changed her name. And basically, just like I could have guessed, she's a chameleon and she didn't want to, I should say she's a snake. So she's a snake. She shed that skin and she doesn't want to be associated with her family anymore. And that's why she's not using her legal name. I think it's a crock of shit. And that's my opinion. So either way, we'll see what continues to unfold. But if you're going to support her, you should know that you are supporting someone who took their child to a medical facility with so many extensive injuries, fractured skull, that poor child had to be transported to a more advanced medical facility so that he could get the medical care that he needed. And just that alone makes me sick to my stomach. So either way, those are going to be my thoughts for now. If you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.